Hello, everybody. This is Meredith Lochran with Crypto Trader News, and with me today we have Tony and Matthew.
Hello.
And we've got a few things that we want to talk about, depending on which side of the debate that you want to be on, which side of climate change you want to be on. Maybe we'll even talk about a little bit of crypto. Who knows? You guys ready to start?
We're ready. So first things first, just a small update on impeachment. I know yesterday was a big day, but I'm not really sure what happened in the end. If you want to give us a brief overview, Matt.
Just 1 second. Sorry, I was reading a message there. Yesterday was the opening arguments or the opening statements, and the Democrats were trying to push some resolutions through as far as getting evidence in beforehand, before the opening remarks.
Yeah, the rules of the impeachment trial before they even started.
And of course, so it was, and it was actually, I didn't get to watch as much as I wanted to because it was a busy day. But it was actually ended up being more interesting than what you would expect. I thought what I caught of it, Adam Schiff did a really good job just presenting the facts of what they were bringing to the table and what Trump has done. And the lawyers on that side, on Trump's side, seemed like they were reading Trump's Twitter feed just from over the past 6 months. And so it's a preview of what's to come with, the votes that they did yesterday were right down party lines. And although there are a couple of those moderates that are still saying, that they want the evidence to be brought in, just not at this time. They're going to vote on it when it's appropriate. And that, you're hearing a lot of this of follow the Clinton impeachment. We're going to follow that format. And so really and truly, guys, for what's coming next it's going to be a lot of the same of yesterday. You're going to have a lot of the same, party line votes. But I still don't think that this is a slam dunk for acquittal that a lot of the Republicans are thinking. I don't think it's a slam dunk for impeachment and removal, or he's already been impeached, but finding him guilty and removal. But I think there's a chance. You've got these moderates that McConnell knows that if he pisses off or that he doesn't appease, that they could vote the other way. And that's why you saw the sudden change yesterday about the House rules. He had sent out Sunday night or Monday night saying, these are going to be the rules. And then or Tuesday morning, you had a bunch of handwritten changes. And that was because a lot of these moderates were like, hey, man, we don't want to spend 12 hours, and over 2 days doing the arguments and going late into the night. And so he quickly changed. And that's the whole reason, is because those people are on the line. They're going to be the ones that decide what gets into this trial and what doesn't. It's also interesting to see that the numbers, from what I've seen in polls, they had been flatlining as far, and maybe even dipping a little as far as being sorry, I got to quit reading stuff that pops up. Dipping a little as far as those that were for removal in a lot of the polls. And it was just a percentage point or two, but that's starting to come back up now. I've noticed in the last week since the trial is actually getting here. And we may
let me cut you off there. When do we have a trial date?
No, they're still hashing out the rules of the trial.
Right.
Exactly.
Right.
And how long is it going to take them to actually figure out how the trial is going to work?
They have 24 hours each side over 3 days.
Mm-hmm.
So that's a week and a half-ish.
Yeah, and this is honestly, like, I feel completely opposite of what Matt does as far as Schiff, Shifty Schiff. I don't trust that man. He's lied. He's held, secret meetings. He won't release all of the transcripts from the skiff. And I was watching it throughout the day yesterday. I had it on another screen in the background. And the Democrat side they were just repeating the same stuff over and over and over again. And here's the thing. The House was responsible for putting together the arguments, the witnesses, the testimony, all of the evidence. That's their job. Then what they do is, if they find the articles of impeachment, which they put together, but it didn't have anything for quid pro quo, it didn't have anything for bribery, it didn't actually have any broken laws. Trump didn't break any laws according to their articles of impeachment, but they signed it anyway and they delivered it to the Senate. And the Senate's job is to take that information, disseminate it, and they are the jury. So it's the House responsibility. If you've ever been to court, it's the House's responsibility as prosecutors to plead their case, to prove without a shadow of a doubt that he's guilty, and then it's up to the jury to determine whether or not he's guilty or innocent.
Yeah,
so
but okay.
with the Democrat side trying to put together their case and everything, and they're saying, "Oh, we want more witnesses." No, you had the opportunity to do that in the House. You didn't do your job. You wanted to rush it.
Hang on, though, Meredith, because the whole thing is that Trump blocked every witness. The only witnesses that came were defined presidential orders. He blocked every piece of paper. Hang on. And he took it to court. Okay, they're taking it to court, but the courts take months and months and months. What the Democrats didn't want was impeachment to be starting in August, right before the November election. They wanted to get this done as early as possible. And then she held on to it for 4 weeks. Yes. But that was hoping that we'd get more information, and we did. We've gotten more information.
So here's the thing. Okay. They said that he has obstruction of Congress because he actually wanted to take it to the judiciary, which is the third branch of government. So when the executive and the legislative are fighting, they go to the judicial. But they said, no, you can't do that. We don't have time. This is an existential crisis. We have to get him out of here. But they didn't go to the judicial at all.
But this is co-equal branches of government. Trump doesn't get to just put out a blanket and say everything regarding this is, he didn't say executive privilege, but you can't have any information regarding this. None. Nobody can, you can't talk to anybody. You can't have a piece of paper.
Was he allowed witnesses in the skiff? No. Were his lawyers present in the skiff? No. Did Schiff leak out transcriptions that pled his case? Sure. Did he release them all? No. So I mean, I agree
that a lot of the things that the Democrats did were wrong, and I agree that Schiff shouldn't have read the transcript the way he did in that. But the fact of the matter is the fact of the matter is you don't stop witnesses coming forward if you're innocent. You only do that when you're guilty.
Right, but that is the responsibility of the House, Matt. That's the responsibility of the House. They were going to call witnesses, but and if there was an argument against Trump's executive privilege, and then that goes to the judiciary. They didn't allow that to happen.
All right,
okay, I'm gonna cut you guys off. I'm loving that. I really love these discussions. The only issue is that
because we're fighting.
I just love it. No, I love.
I still love you, Matt. I really do.
I love the passion, though. It's like I love one of the reasons why I love politics is it's because people get so passionate about it. It's fun. Anyways, the debate today is going to be about Greta Thunberg. The only thing that I'm still wondering, like you didn't really answer. I'm going to ask you both. What was the point of yesterday's meeting? Give me like a 10-second summary.
The meeting for what? For Greta or for
No, for impeachment.
Oh, for the impeachment. Matt, you want to go first?
Yeah, they're just arguing over trying to set the rules of the trial. And so it's each side pitching what they think should be the rules.
Gotcha. And what was the resolution?
Nothing yet.
Okay,
Nothing yet,
so
because
there's no resolution because it's going to take how long? Or how long do they have?
Well, Schumer had about, from what I read yesterday, he was supposed to have about 50 amendments that he wanted to put towards these rules. And so far, when I went to sleep last night, they were up to like 4 or 5, and
they all got voted down.
Yeah, they all got voted down straight along party lines. So,
all right,
it's just gonna be a long day.
So what's next?
More of the same.
More of the same. For how long are we gonna have more of the same? We just don't know for sure.
Probably through the weekend. I mean, they're supposed to have a cutoff date. And think about this also. You have a couple of senators who are running for president right now with Iowa caucuses next week. So they can't leave. They can't leave until this is done.
Yeah.
You know, you better believe that Bernie Sanders and Klobuchar and who else is in there? Who else is left? There's Sanders and Klobuchar for sure. Kamala Harris is out. Booker's out.
Yeah, I don't think there's any more big senators. Anyways, let's actually talk about the Greta thing. It was thanks for the overview. So first question that I'm gonna ask you guys: do you like Greta Thunberg, Meredith?
I fucking hate her.
Well, I mean, and I don't mean on a personal level because you probably don't know her.
I don't know her, but my instinct is that I just want to smash my TV every time I see her on my TV. I really do. And I don't know. It's just this instinctual, thing. It just drives, she drives me crazy.
Let me cut you there, Matt. Do you like her? Not on a personal level, like the persona around Greta.
I do.
Okay. I love this, man. It's always white and black with you guys. I love it. Okay, so I'll give my opinion. It seems like I'm the one who never actually gives his opinion. I'm gonna give my opinion here, but I'm gonna let you guys speak first. Meredith, why do you hate her?
Well, here's the thing. Okay, she has got all right. So everybody says she's got Asperger's. You know what? I have Asperger's. So don't use that as an excuse to put her on a pedestal or say that she's all that special. And then the thing is like, is she really voicing her opinion, or is she being handled by her adult handlers and being jetted around talking about climate change? I'm like, I'm sorry, you're 16. You don't know shit.
Perfect. I'm going to end it there. Perfect. Awesome. Perfect. Beautiful. Matt, why do you like her?
I like her because several reasons. One, I think she's very articulate for her age, whether that she has a speechwriter or what. Yesterday was a perfect example. I saw where a guy asked her what she would pass on or how she handles her haters. And she's like, I want to cover something that I think the world needs to know and not about what I do with my haters. And then she went into it and she transitioned beautifully. She handles herself better than a lot of our politicians that we see every single day on the television. She has a clear, concise message. She's sticking to it. When Trump trolls her, she's an expert troll, man. I mean, expert grade troll level for Greta, and I just that's what I admire. I agree that climate change is out of hand, and her trolling Trump is just awesome. She pisses him off better than any politician in Washington. She gets under his skin just by getting on stage, and it's hilarious. It's absolutely hilarious.
Wow. Okay, so we've got very different points of view here. So let me give you mine. I haven't actually watched her live that many times, mainly because of somewhat of Meredith's reasoning too. I don't think she brings anything interesting into my life. I'm already familiarized with climate change. I know the issues around climate change. I know that I personally think it's real. You may or may not agree. but the persona around Greta doesn't really say much, at least to me.
See,
I wouldn't say I hate her, but I kind of agree with Meredith in a way. When I was 16, I didn't know squat. I mean, I didn't even know. There was nothing. I mean, I was into. There's no way you can put. Like, I look back when I was 16, and there's no way you can put me in front of X amount of people and talk about something as big as climate change, because I simply didn't know shit. I mean, there was. I mean,
but think
so
about it.
I don't. Yep. Go ahead.
So just to end it here real quick, I think that she is 100%, definitely 100% a puppet. I mean, there's no question about that. I think she's scripted. Now, I also agree with you, Matt. I think that you need to be talented in order to actually be able to not BS it, but you gotta be eloquent. You gotta be, I don't know, you gotta know how to actually go around in circles when people are asking you. I'm particularly considering that she's 16. I mean, you gotta be somewhat smart. I don't think she's a very charismatic person. I think she's eloquent, but she's not very charismatic, in my opinion. You might differ, but
let me jump in here real quick, because both of y'all have touched on the age thing and her not knowing much.
Mm-hmm.
I was living on my own at 16, but this day and age, these kids have a whole different world than what any of us grew up in. I mean, look at, how many times in the last year have seen school shootings. These kids are having to duck bullets. And then we had Sandy Hook and all that a couple of years ago. And you saw these 16-year-olds, these 15-year-olds start to become advocates, activists, yes, and have made a real difference. And they're continuing it to this day. And then you've got kids that are seeing what's going on around them, that the ocean is warming, that ice caps are melting, and they see that by the time that they have kids, this world could be a really screwed up place. And so I don't think age has much to do with it. We've got kids that are 9 years old graduating college. And so, it's not like there's, 500 16-year-olds out there all screaming the same thing Greta is right now, or at least on that pulpit. But Greta has become that face. And, sure, yes, she's being fed a lot of stuff. She's got I can't think of the word, but, she's got people that are on that side that are just pushing everything. But what I like is, like yesterday, she said, we're not asking you to grab onto to clean energy that is 5 years down the road and isn't even working right now. And scientists are saying that it may not ever work. She's wanting she's speaking for real world answers now. And if she is a puppet, I still think that a lot of it, like you said, is her. It's her personality and everything. But I think that she started this with this in her heart of wanting to reach people. And, she calls out all the world leaders when they're saying, oh, well, we're doing this, this, and this. And she's going, look, this isn't enough. And look at our emissions. We're going to be out, at that cap in 8 years. And she's really factual. And I don't think it is all puppeteering. I think it is coming from passion. I think she started it with passion. And today's 16-year-olds aren't like 16-year-olds when we were kids, man. These kids are dealing with death every freaking day.
In America. Let me just add that in there.
This is true. But that news goes worldwide. And there was just a shooting. Crap. There was another.
I read about it. Yeah, not too long ago. But
he said today is the day, and pulled out a gun and blasted I forget what country it was, but there was a school shooting, and that's scary because the kids in other countries are seeing these news reports. They're flooded with it every day, so they're still living with it. And then now we're going to see these damn copycats because kids are going, hey, they got all on the news. They took care of their issues. But anyway, we got way off topic. My point is that I just think that y'all were edging into the wrong area by just saying she's too young to have these opinions, because I think she's plenty old enough to have those kind of opinions.
Well, when I was 16, I had a lot of opinions too. You know what I mean?
Exactly.
And I
Yeah.
thought that there were things that I could do. I mean, I wasn't a teenager that thought there wasn't anything I could do in the world. I wanted to change the world too. And, I never had the platform that social media is. We didn't grow up with that stuff.
Right.
And thank God, I am so happy that I didn't have social media and all this
You
stuff
and me
when I was
both.
growing up. I
I'm
mean,
just
to be
thankful
to have the stupid things that you've done in your youth permanently etched on the internet has got to be a curse for these kids. I mean, as adults, we are online and we're voicing our opinions now, and that's okay. We've had this lifetime of experience to grow thicker skin and just say, you know what, I don't care, because like how what you think about me doesn't affect how I sleep at night. It really doesn't.
Right.
So I can be as vocal as I want to. Matt can be as vocal as we want to. And at the end of the day, no matter what our opinions are about certain things, we actually respect each other as people to either agree to disagree, or we agree. We'll have a whiskey. Hey, we're going to do the debates in a couple weeks. We're going to do that again. So, when it comes to these things, the only thing I can say is be aware, be self-aware, clean up after yourself. Think what you want to do. Don't just listen to the hype, people. Do your own research, make up your own minds. Don't listen
And
to
that's
what other people are saying.
well, that's the main problem that I'm seeing. I understand where you're coming from, Matt, when you're saying, 16-year-old kids, they can have their own opinions. I mean, when I was 16, I was serving tables. I was making money already. I wasn't living on my own, but I was still capable of making a judgment on my own. The only problem is that, climate change is a very factual, scientific, you gotta know what you're talking about. And it's, I just pulled up her Instagram.
Yeah, I just want to put
I just,
something in there.
it's just, she doesn't even seem 16, which is why I think they, it's just going to sound a little weird, but I think they picked the wrong girl. And I'm going to actually make a fun comparison here. She's the same age. I'm not sure if you guys have actually seen this show. It's 100% recommended. Have you guys seen Stranger Things?
Oh, yeah.
The girl that plays 11, she's the same age as Greta. And she looks like she's 15 years older than she is. Like, way ahead of herself. And the girl's an activist for, I don't know what, but she's like, she's a very charismatic person, particularly for someone of her age. And then you look at Greta, and it's so hard for me to believe that someone that's so young is actually capable of making very reasonable calls in a topic that's so, like, you gotta know what you're talking about. Like, you gotta.
But listen to what she says, though, because she does. Yesterday, she was citing all the scientific reports. She has her facts. Now, again, is it her going and doing the research herself and finding this stuff out because of a thirst for knowledge? Or is it being, force-fed to her? We may never know. I'm going to go with the assumption, because she got into this, the reason that she did, that she's doing her own research. And sure, people may be going, here, Greta, here's the latest scientific facts. But like yesterday, she was like, some skeptics say this number is really higher, but the official number that is accepted is this. And so listening to her talk, not looking at her face or how young she is, but just listening to her talk. She's either got one hell of a speechwriter, in my opinion, or
Probably does,
and probably a good public speaking coach. But if she does, so what, man? If this gets kids her age to listen and think about climate change and doing their part as much as they possibly can, and that generation, because it isn't going to be my generation that cleans it up. You see all the rollbacks that have happened. My kids, they're getting too old, to enter into any kind of new field. And so it's going to be Greta's generation that is able to come into the industries and make these changes. And so if she can get those kids to listen and hopefully get some of the world leaders to listen and make some changes, then that's all the better for the world. And if they did pick the wrong person, I think that she would have faded out by now. She's made the Times person of the year. She did. And boy, did that get under Trump's skin. And
that got under my skin. Are you kidding?
But
crap.
I think that if she is just a puppet, it'll come out. She'll burn out. Her flame will die. If she's truly into this for the right reasons, we're going to see her for a long time to come. And I'm going to give her the benefit of the doubt at this point because she got into it for the right reasons. Until I'm proven otherwise, I have to believe that she's still in it for those same reasons.
Well, I'm going to add a couple things.
Wait, hold on.
Let me just, yeah.
I am sold.
What? I changed your mind?
Yeah. I'm just kidding.
Oh, look at you.
No, I kind of agree with everything you said. I actually somewhat agree and somewhat disagree. I don't think we're going to see Greta for too much longer, actually. I think the hype is probably going to fade away eventually, if it hasn't already started. The most I've ever heard about her was when she gave the "How dare you" speech. It's kind of yeah, it was. And to be honest, it was such an emotional speech, and the only thing I could do was laugh. I just didn't believe the girl for some reason. I just couldn't.
Well, okay.
But
let
just to point out before I let you speak, Meredith, the debate here is not climate change. I 100% agree with what she's saying and what she's fighting for. I just don't, I just don't see how she's the right persona to convince people about it. At least not me.
I got you.
But you do have a point. Maybe younger kids are actually listening to younger kids. That might work. Maybe I'm just not her target audience or something, right? Because she's not reaching me emotionally. Like, I much rather actually listen to some scientific nerd speak about it or something.
And I'm sure
that's just me.
I'm sure I'm kind of out of the norm. Here I am, almost 51 years old, white Texan, in the middle of Republican country, and so there's probably not too many like me that do like her or do admire her. But it is what it is.
Meredith?
Okay, so a couple of things. I find that people get really divisive about really stupid things. And I'm going to say climate change is one of them. And here's the reason why. Because it's a great unknown, okay? And I just want to have a little bit of an example of this great unknown that people argue about, all right? And it's a silly example and it has nothing to do with climate change. But I remember the one time when Lotto was like $1 billion, and my mother and my sister were sitting at the kitchen table arguing about what they would do with the money if they won, okay? Literally arguing. And I mean, they were so mad at each other for a great unknown, and they didn't win. So here's the thing.
What did they do with the money? With what?
What would they do with the Lotto money if they won $1 billion? And they were arguing and they were calling each other stupid for the ideas that they wanted to do with that money. So here's the thing. Climate change is a big unknown. Nobody knows what the hell is going to happen tomorrow, much less. I mean, we're better with radar and whatever, but nobody really knows what's going to happen with the weather, climate change 10 years from now. It's like this whole panic that happened during Y2K. It was this whole panic when my sons came home from school, and it was like on the edge of the end of the Mayan calendar. Mom, the world's going to end, blah, blah, blah. What's going to happen? I'm like,
that was 2012, right?
Tomorrow.
That was 2012.
Right, yeah, exactly. It's like, so we have all of these unknowns that are leading up to, and it causes so much division, and people are debating and they're arguing, and it's like that lotto example. You're arguing about stuff, you're being very divisive about things that haven't happened. You can't possibly know what's going to happen. So why do we spend so much energy on this stupid crap?
Well,
I just don't understand.
A big problem is, Meredith, is that for the last few years, a lot of countries have at least been taking steps to try to reduce emissions, try to stop the greenhouse effect, try to stop, the polluting of our oceans. And so they've been, and the fracking and, tearing up areas and causing earthquakes and stuff. And then now with this administration, you're seeing a lot of that being rolled back. And it's not just America. I don't want to just put it on Trump. There's other administrations in other countries that have started rolling things back, or not doing enough, or not doing what they said they would do. And if we're not doing anything, if we're only continuing to do what we have done for the last couple of decades, we know we're seeing the effect. It's no denying it. I mean, you can deny it, but the earth is getting warmer. You look at the facts, it's getting warmer. The oceans are warmer than they were. The ice is melting. I mean, people can deny it, but it's warmer. That's global warming. And so if we keep doing what we're doing, it only stands to reason things are going to get worse. And so, that's why everybody, 20 years ago, 30 years ago, who the hell recycled? Nobody, people up in New York, they did their bottles. And we used to have the soda bottles when I was a kid, and they stopped those, so decades.
Recycling is still not even a thing in the States. Like when in Orlando, in Florida, like I just put all of the trash together. There aren't even containers to recycle.
We do here.
Yeah, I've tried separating, and they just throw it all in the same truck anyway.
Now we got two trucks here, but you're right. See, same thing though. We know that recycling saves a lot of greenhouse emissions, and that it saves the environment. It saves our landfills. We know that, but we're still not doing it.
But here's the thing, also, Matt. When it comes to the emissions and stuff like that, the U.S. is like way ahead of places like China. Countries like China, where it wasn't that long ago, a couple years ago, they had dust storms because of their agriculture. It's like, hello, we went through that in, when was it, the 20s, 30s?
30s,
did you learn nothing from the history of, agriculture to do better? What happened there?
But that's the thing.
And their emissions are out of control. Because nobody's
Homo sapiens do not learn from history, Meredith. That's already been proven. It's not something in our DNA. We can't learn from history.
We're destined to repeat it.
Yeah.
Yeah, and that's what makes us really, I think, just as a race, we're stupid, and it's amazing that we've lived this long. But going back to climate change and like the icebergs, or the ice shelves are melting and stuff like that. If you look further into the history, global warming leads to ice age, and it's cyclical. It's going to continue to be cyclical. So the little peons that we are as human beings, yes, we have an effect on our immediate environment, but in the overall scope of things, Mother Nature cleans house.
Well, it's been cyclical because it's been kind of like a cycle. I mean, the Earth used to get warmer and colder, warmer and colder, warmer and colder, but it's never been so warm, like getting as warm as it has at this exponential rate. I mean, let's not get into the debate of climate change, because you can, or like Matt said, you may or may not agree with it. There's a huge, great amount of people that don't believe in it, starting with the President of the United States of America. I mean, you don't need to look that far. So, I mean, you don't have to. And I understand your point of view. I mean, it is true that it's always a cycle. The Earth gets warmer and it gets cooler. If you look at historical charts, I mean, that's what it shows. The problem is when it gets so warm, like it's actually getting warmer now, where you have ecosystems that are collapsing, sea levels that are rising exponentially, and it's starting to get a little scary. Hurricanes are getting freaking insane.
Well,
You live in Florida.
They said last year was the hottest year on record, I think, or the second hottest year on record ever. And we've had the hottest decade. It's just, and I live in Texas.
Today
man.
it was in the 20s. Today's in the 20s. I'm wearing a scarf, a hat, socks. I have my heat on for the first time this year.
Yesterday was 70 something degrees, beautiful day, doors open, dogs running around. Today it's raining and it's about 40 degrees out there. But that's Texas. In 5 more minutes it could be snowing, and then 10 minutes from then it could be 85. But we get, summers are hot here. They always are. I used to work outside in it, and you get cooked because the sidewalk is 110 and you got 105 beating down on you. But yes, the earth does warm on its own. And then it cools. We go into ice age. But, when you say that, we affect our little area, well, we do. But then when you put in that there's, how many billions of people on the planet affecting their little areas, it ends up affecting the whole entire planet and then some. And, the point is that this is, and you hear this all the time. And so it's kind of lame to say, but this is the only planet we have, or at least that we know of. We don't have a bunch of ships yet in Trump's Space Force, to cart us all off to another place. And, with the hurricanes, like Tony just mentioned, going, the hurricanes are nuts. Tornadoes. I mean, they just had devastating tornadoes in freaking January, man. People getting killed, and which isn't all that rare. It happens, but Jesus, there was some devastating stuff. And, can you blame that all on global warming? No, because you don't know. I don't know. You don't know. As I always say, I'm no ist. I'm no scientist or volcanist or weatherologist or anything like that. But I think we all have to be aware of it. And the thing is that the leaders, the world leaders, are the ones that have to be where Greta is. They have to be the ones that are taking this stand. And
the problem is that we get too many politicians elected instead of actually getting smart people elected into office. That's the biggest problem that I see anywhere. And when you finally get a businessman into office, you get Donald Trump. So you can't really do much with him. So. But I think that what's, as time goes by, particularly in this upcoming election, I'm seeing Andrew Yang climbing up quietly but steadily. Yep. He might surprise me. I honestly don't think he's going to make
really
it.
Good ideas. I don't know that because the DNC is not behind him, but he's got really good ideas. We're into crypto, so we've been kind of following universal basic income. But he's got ideas beyond that, as far as, maybe not the Green New Deal, because I think that's crap too, but nuclear energy is about as efficient as you can get, but people are so afraid of it. They think of the nuclear bomb and they don't want that in their backyard. But
I think lately they think about Fukushima and those accidents.
Well, yeah, but and there are things to that, but I recently saw something about the scientific breakthrough on the use or the reuse of those used rods. So instead of hauling them off and burying them under a mountain, they're actually finding other use cases for them.
Really?
So yeah. Oh yeah, I'll see if I can find that article. Yeah, but it was really interesting. So when he's talking about nuclear energy and, making energy more efficient and cost effective in that sense, that really makes me interested, and I wish that he would get a little bit more support from mainstream media, but
that's the other problem.
Yeah. DNC and MSM, they've
when you're not a politician, it's very hard to get far in politics, unless you've got billions to spare, which I don't think, he's not Donald Trump.
Explain Buttigieg to me. Somebody explain that to me.
Well, I'll tell you what, though, we've been talking about energy and the environment and everything. And the one thing that any president, or it would have to be a United States world leader, could do to change so much and become super popular is just sign an executive order asking for Nikola Tesla's papers. And then we can have all the free energy that we need. He had come up, and folks, if you're not sure what I'm talking about, Nikola Tesla, it's very much thought that he had a way to distribute electricity through the air for free to everybody. And when he died, the United States government went in and took all of his papers, and never
big
to be.
Big corporation killed that idea.
And so, yeah, exactly, because I forget the electric company at the time, but of course they didn't want you to have free power. But it is something that can be done, and so that's what I'd say. Andrew Yang should say, we're going to get Tesla's papers, and I'd vote for him. But that's all I wanted to wrap on. There is ways that we could have clean, free energy, and it's just a matter of corporations getting the hell out of politics and the two getting out of bed together, in other words, and us looking at what's best for the people. Remember, folks, the government is supposed to work for us. They are our representatives. It's not supposed to be this crap of them doing what's best for what lines their pockets, and that's the one thing that pissed me off about Trump's speech last time. Is that we're not going to throw away billions of dollars just on this pipe dream of wind energy. And that's infuriating. Money should never come into it. It should be a matter of what's best for the people, what's best for this planet, and for the people in generations to come.
And that was an excellent way of wrapping it up. I'm just going to ask you one final question. Meredith, Greta, yes or no? Just to see if your opinion's changed.
No, my opinion about her hasn't changed. With Asperger's, when you find a subject that you are passionate about, you can speak for hours and days about it, and I will give that to her. But the platform that she's on, I just don't agree with the platform. I really don't care about her one way or another.
Great. What about you, Matt? Greta, yes, I'm assuming.
Oh yeah, still.
Oh yeah,
no change. I think y'all did. Y'all made some good points about her being, possibly a puppet and everything. And I've heard that kind of stuff. And the more I think about it, she's probably being fed quite a bit of this. But I still admire her. She's able to get up there and speak and give it to them when they're trying to give it to her. Oh,
right,
and if y'all haven't seen it, guys, watch the South Park episode dealing with Asperger's. It is absolutely hilarious. Just watch it. It's hilarious.
I will say, in my opinion, not a big fan. Very big fan of what she says, just not a very big fan of her persona. But I will say something. She doesn't really bother me at all. She doesn't really interfere with my life. So if she's helping somehow fix something as concerning as climate change, well, I'll applaud it. But I'm not a big fan of her marketing persona, if you want to call it like that. Anyways, do you guys want to add anything else?
Nope.
Bitcoin.
Nope.
Can we for 5 seconds, for I don't know, 5 minutes, maybe talk about
Yeah,
Bitcoin?
so
I was looking at the coin market cap, and it looked like Bitcoin dropped to 8660 or something.
yeah. So the one that we actually want to be looking at right now, for some strange reason, is Bitcoin SB. We've written about Bitcoin SB before in CTN. I don't really know what it is from the top of my head. I think it's like the original Satoshi vision. It's like, how Bitcoin went through all of these forks. Well, this is the original vision that Satoshi had in mind. And this thing went from being, I don't even know at what spot it was in the rank, but the thing climbed like 70% in value in just like a day or something. Man, crypto is just... Why did we pick this industry?
Right?
So crazy. It's like it went from $112 to $321
Wow.
in like what? Couple days.
Yeah,
And
like
not
so
one
the
that I had.
yeah.
Sell the
no,
wallet.
who the hell
Sell
was
the-
gonna? I mean, if you're gonna buy a Bitcoin, you're gonna buy Bitcoin, not any of these Bitcoin Gold or Bitcoin Diamonds or any of those.
Don't we have some cash
Yeah,
sitting
so-
in the wallet, Tony?
We have still some cash in the wallet. Yes, I don't really know what we're gonna do with that. Mainly because so we have a very bad experience and a very good one. I'm not really sure if I want to put ourselves through the bad experiences ever again, but we still
Yeah,
have some. I
so-
mean, I haven't been able to sell all of it yet because we still haven't made up for the loss from the original purchase from the first
So
one.
anybody
But I mean,
who's into Bitcoin, I mean, do you buy now? Do you buy?
Right.
What I do is I buy a little bit and I accumulate, and so I buy it up. I buy it chasing it down. I'm just accumulating a little bit at a time.
so I have
You know,
I have a
so if I
very
feel that the price is down, then I'll, instead of like a $20 buy, I might do $50.
Mhm.
So what do you guys think? You know, is this a good time to
Yeah.
do a bigger buy
Great.
or?
let me answer you. Do note that I have a very vast experience of being wrong, so keep that in mind.
Yes. So
But,
whatever you do, I'm going to do the total opposite.
No, but here's the thing. Bitcoin was like over the fence of hitting 9K. It actually hit 9K and it automatically dropped again to 8.9. Then it dropped down to 8.7, 8.8. Now it's sitting at 8.6. I think it had its chance of hitting or of actually trying to hit 10K and it barely went over 9K. I think it's going to go down again. That's my personal feeling. If it reaches 10K though, shit's going to boom. Watch me. Or watch it, or do whatever the hell you want. But if it reaches 10K, mark my words, I think it's gonna go down. But again, I have a very wide experience of being wrong. If I'm wrong and it goes up, it will.
Well,
it's gonna go to the moon.
I agree. I think if it hits 10K and it can stay there for a week or two, then I think it's definitely gonna.
If it's able to stay at 10K and not just hit 10K and drop below 10K once again, like it did with 9K, it's gonna moon. I have a feeling. But so far, I think it's gonna go down again because it's not, it hasn't been able to actually do much.
Well, and this is, take this with a grain of salt, folks. I think it's still going to go down as well. And so if both Tony and I think it's going to go down, it's probably going up. So.
True.
Do what I do. Yeah, buy it on the way down and buy it on the way up. But if it gets anywhere near like 9K, I'm just going to hold on to it for a little bit.
Well, it's already near 9K, right? I mean, it's 8.6. That's, you could technically be considered.
It could hit 9 in a matter of a couple of hours.
It could hit 9 in the next 10 minutes, literally. Yeah. So, yeah. I like the tech. I don't like the craziness of the.
Well, what other altcoins are you guys looking at? I mean, personally, not just for the public wallet, but
I still think XRP, man. That's still the one. I've been disappointed for a year. If you would have told me, I've said this before, if you'd have told me a year ago it was still going to be hovering around 20 cents, I would have called you crazy. But I think with Alan and I kind of talked about this the other day, with the implementation where you're going to be able to start spending XRP at Amazon, or you can get it on a gift card in cash. I think that's going to do a lot. That's the one thing I've always said that's been missing with crypto is the ability for the mainstream user to have it.
To be able to use it.
Exactly. And in this way, this is kind of like a 401k that you can have instant access to without being penalized, where if I want to cash out my 401k, I've got to wait, a couple of weeks for it, and then I get penalized. Whereas on this, if I needed some cash and I've got, $900 worth of XRP and I need it. If I can go in and to the exchange there and put it on a debit card and have it instantly, I'm in.
Problem is going to bed with $900 worth of XRP and waking up with $400 worth of XRP. That's the only problem of having that kind of
That's the thing with XRP is it hasn't had a drastic drop. Yeah, it drops a little bit, but it hasn't ever dropped drastically.
So
and you could
actually
wake up,
this year it has dropped drastically. I mean, a couple months ago, 4 or 5 months ago, this thing was sitting at 40 cents. Now it's sitting at 20 cents, around 20 cents. That's a 50% decrease on its value. That's a lot.
Yeah, that is true, but everybody dropped at that same time. You know,
it did, but not 50. 50% is a lot. That's like saying Bitcoin dropped from 8K to 4K or something.
Right. But
although Bitcoin's been outperforming all altcoins throughout the year, though.
Yeah.
Sure.
How about Libra? Because we've written quite a few articles on Facebook and Libra. Do you think that it's got a pulse, or is it going to die?
If you go to calibra.com, which is their official website, it looks like they're about to launch the thing. I mean, they've got this beautiful design. It's like, get ready, it's coming. I don't even think it's going to be out within the next couple of years. I just don't see. I don't think how it's possible. I mean, unless they actually go back on their own words and just go like, we don't care about the U.S. government. We're just going to do whatever the hell we want, which I'll be very surprised if they do that after showing up more than once in Congress and, assuring Congress that they're going to be compliant with them.
After the big names dropped out, they just haven't been in the news that I've seen. After that congressional hearing, and then Amex dropped out, and all those others dropped out, PayPal, eBay, just haven't heard that much about it. And so they may be kind of behind the scenes licking their wounds and trying to redirect, seeing if they can get more partners or how they want to approach this. But I'm in the same view as you, Tony. I don't think we'll see anything even remotely launching it as far as a beta or anything this year. I think that they are completely having to retool at this point because of the speculation of oversight, Congress, grabbing the spears and ready to or the Senate rather, ready to stab Zuckerberg as soon as he walked in. And so I think one thing that's going to have to happen, and Tony, I think you agree with me on this, is when they come back, I think Zuck has to take a back seat. I think it just has to be kind of a Facebook partnership, but Zuck is in the back seat. He's not the one answering questions.
Well, in the article that I just recently that we published on CTN about Libra, he actually made a long statement on Facebook with a 10-year plan, and Libra is not mentioned at all. So I think that they are separating themselves from the Libra project completely.
Smart I am.
They have to. I mean, there's no way around that. And to be honest, most of these partners that they've dropped, I think they've realized that it's just freaking easier to come up with their own cryptocurrency on their own. Like I can see Amex just launching their own thing. I mean, that's what they do. They're financial payments. If I were Amex, I wouldn't even partner with Facebook. Like I could see why you would want to partner up with them. You were exposed to billions of people, but with every major issue, and when you've got the goddamn precedent saying there's no way you're going to launch this thing here, the main reason why they're saying it is because of what Matt is saying. It's because Mark Zuckerberg is not loved in Congress. They don't like him in Washington. Anyways, we've been at it for like an hour, so I think it's a good time to wrap it up.
Yep. Well, thanks for joining, everybody.
Lovely Greta. Lovely. I can't speak anymore.
Rawr.
Anyways, have a good one. Thank you, guys.
Thanks, guys. Thanks for tuning in.